Rain lashed against the window of the Inn of the Sleeping Dragon. A weary traveler huddled within, his cloak dripping onto the worn wooden floor. His name was Kael, and his heart was heavy with a sense of foreboding. The old bard, Silas, had sent him on a quest to find the lost library, said to be hidden deep within the Whispering Woods. It was an age-old legend. Many considered it a mere fable. Yet Kael, a scholar of ancient lore, couldn't dismiss it entirely. He was drawn to the whispers, the secrets that resonated in his bones. The tales spoke of ancient knowledge, forgotten magic, and a prophecy that could reshape the world. He had sought out Silas, the only living person who knew the truth, and Silas had given him a riddle. Where the shadows whisper and the earth sighs, there the library sleeps, veiled by ancient lies. Find the heart of the wood, where the river runs deep, and the moon paints the trees with a silver sheen. There lies the truth, the wisdom unseen. The inn's door creaked open, letting in a gust of wind. In walked a woman, cloaked in gray, her face hidden by a hood. She seemed out of place, her arrival adding a spark of something unusual to the dreary inn. Kael caught a glimpse of her hands, slim and nimble, adorned with elaborate silver rings. The glint of the moon caught her hair, a cascade of raven black, and in that brief moment, he was sure she wasn't just another weary traveler. "May I join you by the fire?" she asked, her voice soft, but laced with a hint of authority. Kael, intrigued, nodded. "I'm Seraphina," she said, her eyes revealing a spark of curiosity. "Kael," he responded, adding, "You wouldn't happen to be headed to the Whispering Woods, would you?" Her gaze narrowed slightly. "How did you know?" Kael shrugged. "Just a hunch." A faint smile touched Seraphina's lips. "It seems we share a common goal. Perhaps our paths are meant to cross." The morning dawned with an ethereal mist. The Whispering Woods, draped in a blanket of silver. The air was still, the leaves barely rustling, only a gentle sigh that echoed through the ancient trees. Kael and Seraphina journeyed together, their initial apprehension dissolving into a shared sense of purpose. Seraphina was not a warrior, but she moved with a grace that belied her quiet demeanor, her understanding of the woods rivaling even Kael's. As they traversed the forest, Kael, lost in thought, found himself talking about the old prophecies, the ancient whispers that had brought him here. "They say the library holds secrets beyond our comprehension," he explained, his voice hushed. "Knowledge that could rewrite the very fabric of reality." "And you believe these tales?" Seraphina questioned, her eyes shimmering with an almost knowing light. "I believe in the potential," Kael replied, his gaze searching hers. "There's a truth in the world that we've only glimpsed, and I intend to find it." Seraphina chuckled softly. "It seems you're a man of conviction, Kael." "That is rare." They walked in comfortable silence for a while, until a sudden movement caught their attention. A bird, large and black, perched on a nearby branch, its beady eyes fixated on them. Seraphina stopped, a hand instinctively reaching for a dagger hidden within her cloak. "It's nothing," she muttered, a note of warning in her voice. "But stay alert. We're getting close." The further they journeyed, the more oppressive the atmosphere became. Shadows seemed to stretch and writhe, whispering voices echoing in their ears. The forest seemed to be alive, pulsing with a primal energy. Finally, they reached a clearing where a silvery river flowed through a bed of glistening moonstone. A single ancient oak tree stood sentinel in the middle, its branches reaching for the sky, adorned with shimmering leaves that looked like a million scattered stars. This, according to the riddle, was the heart of the wood. As they stood before the tree, a faint glow began to emanate from within. It pulsed slowly, like a heart beating beneath the ancient bark. Kael knew they were near the library. But what he didn't know was what lay behind the seemingly impossible task of getting past the watchful guardian, the very tree itself. The ancient oak pulsated with a growing intensity, the shimmering leaves casting flickering shadows that danced on the ground. A gentle breeze whispered through the leaves, and the scent of ancient magic filled the air, both alluring and threatening. Suddenly, a voice boomed from within the tree. "Who seeks passage through these sacred walls?" Kael, momentarily taken aback, recovered quickly. "I am Kael, a scholar seeking the lost library," he replied, his voice strong and clear. "And what brings you to this hallowed ground?" the voice inquired, each word heavy with the weight of ancient power. Kael hesitated, unsure whether to reveal the entirety of his purpose. It seemed as if the guardian possessed the wisdom of ages. "I seek knowledge," Kael said, hoping his answer would suffice. The voice remained silent, the oak growing ever brighter. Seraphina, understanding his hesitation, stepped forward, her gaze unwavering. "We seek not to disturb the balance, but to learn. The wisdom held within these walls could save our world from a darkness that threatens to consume it." The guardian seemed to consider this for a long moment. Then the tree spoke again, this time, a voice that was gentle but commanding. "A noble ambition, but one fraught with peril. Only those who understand the value of truth, those who can withstand the weight of secrets, may pass." The tree's branches began to sway, creating an impenetrable barrier. A whirlwind of light and shadow engulfed them, momentarily blinding them. "This is not a mere riddle," Seraphina whispered. "The guardian is testing us," Kael replied, a newfound resolve hardening his voice. The light intensified, revealing a small wooden box nestled at the base of the oak tree. It was ornate, adorned with ancient runes. The tree, its voice softer now, directed them. "The wisdom lies in what has been lost." "What's the meaning of that?" Kael whispered, peering into the box. Inside lay a small scroll, covered in faded ink. "Find the meaning of lost wisdom," the tree echoed. "If you succeed, you may enter the library." Kael's eyes darted between the box and the pulsating glow that seemed to engulf the whole clearing. "How? Where do we begin?" "The scroll will show you the way," the voice murmured. "It will be your guide. It will be your test." The breeze shifted once more, a slight ripple passing through the luminous leaves of the tree. Both Kael and Seraphina felt a strong pull towards the scroll, its ancient scent lingering in the air. The scroll, when unfolded, revealed cryptic writings, a language that felt familiar yet wholly alien. As Kael traced the strange symbols with his finger, a story unfurled before him, its meaning weaving through time itself. The story spoke of a time long forgotten, when knowledge and magic were entwined. It was a tale of a great library that housed wisdom far beyond human comprehension. It spoke of a king, wise and benevolent, who sought to preserve this knowledge for future generations. But the king's own people, blinded by fear, feared his power and destroyed the library, scattering its wisdom to the winds. "This is the story of our world's destruction," Seraphina spoke, her voice low. "Of a knowledge that was lost, forgotten, its absence leaving us vulnerable." "But this is more," Kael whispered, his brow creased with the effort of translating the cryptic script. "The king's legacy lives on. His message, though scattered, will reveal the key to protecting this world and to find a new wisdom." "The scroll is a map," Seraphina confirmed, a spark of understanding in her eyes. "It shows the paths of knowledge." She pointed to a sequence of symbols within the scroll, their forms shifting as Kael traced them with his finger. "They represent our trials," she continued. "These tests are to prove our understanding, our dedication." Each symbol resonated with an inexplicable energy, each representing a lost knowledge, a fragment of forgotten magic, a prophecy spoken in forgotten tongue, a riddle written in ancient runes. How will we solve these tests? Kael questioned, apprehension building within him. The vastness of knowledge needed felt overwhelming. Together, Seraphina replied, meeting his gaze, the true wisdom is not in the knowledge itself, but in its application. We need to share our strengths. The answers are there, woven into the fabric of the world. For days they stood within the heart of the whispering woods, the guardian oak, their silent observer. Each night, the whispers grew louder, the air heavier. Kael, using his knowledge of ancient languages and literature, deciphered the cryptic scrolls and deciphered ancient symbols with Seraphina's aid. Seraphina, through her own keen observations, sought hidden messages in nature, using her intuitive sense to unlock the riddles. Slowly, meticulously, the secrets unraveled. They found themselves interpreting hidden prophecies, translating ancient scripts, and unraveling the secrets behind forgotten spells, all with a single goal: to prove their worth to the guardian. As they worked through the trials of the scroll, their bond deepened. They faced challenges, overcoming hurdles together, their intellects and skills complementing each other, their anxieties and doubts fading as they found their strength in one another. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, they completed the scroll. The final rune glowed a vibrant green, pulsating with the energy of the forest itself. A quiet stillness filled the air. The guardian oak, its branches slowly swaying, no longer hummed with a pulsing energy, but radiated with a soft, calming glow. Then, the guardian's voice, like a whisper carried on the wind, confirmed their success. You have proven your worth. The branches parted, revealing a secret passage beneath the ancient oak, a hidden portal into the library's depths. As they stepped forward, the passage felt surprisingly warm and welcoming, the scent of aged parchment and forgotten ink heavy in the air. Let us be careful, Seraphina murmured, her hand resting lightly on Kael's arm. Within the library, towering bookshelves, stretching high into the darkness, held secrets older than time. In the center, on a pedestal of gleaming obsidian, lay a book bound in silver, its surface shimmering with a faint glow. This was the heart of the lost library, the ancient prophecy that could reshape the world. What now? Kael questioned, his voice hushed as he gazed at the silver-bound tome. He understood that this was the culmination of their journey, the answers they sought hidden within the book's pages. Together, Seraphina replied, taking a step toward the book, her hand gently resting upon the cool, smooth surface. We read the ancient secrets. They knelt before the book, reading in unison, their voices intertwined, chanting a language ancient, a tale of a lost civilization and their forgotten magic. A world on the verge of collapse, seeking balance. The story whispered to them, not of darkness, but of hope. It held the key to healing a fractured world. The world's fragility lay bare in its whispers. As they finished the book, the library pulsed with light, a sense of awe permeating the room. Then, a single line from the text lingered in their minds. The power to reshape the world lies within. They looked at each other, their gazes meeting in an understanding born not from words, but from a shared journey, a common goal. The true answer was not in the words of a book, but in their hearts. And suddenly, they understood. Their journey had been more than a search for a lost book, more than a quest for forbidden knowledge. It was a journey to discover themselves, their own power, their potential. They rose from their knees, both their eyes glowing with newfound hope. Their journey had led them to a new path. This was only the beginning of their adventure. The whisper of the ancients had spoken, and they were ready to heed its call.